Hey folks, Steve back again in the 2025 Jeep Wrangler Willys edition 4xe. We're going to take a little drive to a local car show that happens every Friday night. Just figured I'd take a little video here of our drive there, kind of go over some more of the stuff here in the Jeep. Right now, of course, we are in hybrid mode. And as you can see, we got the ready on the dash. Got our miles, 20 miles of battery life left. I went out earlier. We were at 26, it normally says. So once we could get out of traffic here, we'll pull on out and head down the road. So far, with almost 500 miles, definitely like doing the electric more than the gas. I went about 160 miles round trip, and we, of course, ran out of the battery and ran just on gas. Definitely does not get the fuel economy, gas economy, whatever you want to say, as some other vehicles. Of course, you got the big mud terrains on this, so it's kind of a give and take. You want to look cool, you're not going to get good gas mileage. I'm actually just leasing this, so I wanted to get a package that gave me all the looks and the other features that come with the Willys package. I still have a trailer hitch, still has it's either 8 or 9 speaker Alpine stereo system, so you got your subwoofer in the back. Got 2 speakers up here on the front, on the tops of the dashboard, 1 on each side by your knees, 2 right above your head on the crossbar, and then the subwoofer that's in the rear hatch area. We do have the max regen button turned on here, which is definitely good for city driving. When you let off the accelerator, it normally will start going into charge mode. Right now, as you can see, we're accelerating, so the battery power gauge is working. And if you eventually let off and hit the brake, you will notice that that will go down to charge, which for stop and go is good. It kind of gives you, maybe a percent or 2 here or there. As you can see, we're doing about 38 miles an hour. And not too bad with the road noise. You notice it way more freeway driving. Once you get up in the miles per hour, you'll definitely notice the wheel noise. It's not horrible though, so don't be too taken back by that. Definitely get a little bit more noise by this not being a completely sealed vehicle. As you can see here, just hit the brakes, we go down the charge. So it's nice. It does give you a little bit of battery, back in. Said we do have the big, I think it's 12.3 inch LCD display here. All touchscreen, comfort. You got your vehicle settings, your apps. So that's pretty nice. Got some more just regular push button stuff there to where you could go into stuff manually like that. You got some of your other stuff down in there, your media stuff where your charger stuff is, and you got one in your center console. I came from a 2022 crew cab Ram truck, so it's a little bit different, of course, but definitely not bad. What I lost for the kind of cabin space where everyone sits, you know, I do have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old, so they're really the only ones ever in the back seat, so it's not too bad. What's kind of nice is everything with my truck was just in the rear seating area, you know, on the floor. Granted, it had a tremendous amount of floor, so it's kind of nice now though having all the bags and stuff, because the kids play sports, so all their gears in the back area. So not too bad. Definitely, like I said, if you run out of your battery, like this is definitely good for local. If you're driving normally like 5-10 miles, like on a daily basis, you know, you could get a good 2 days out of a charge. So it's not bad at all. I've liked it so far. With 500 miles, I went to the gas station one time and filled up. Definitely has a smaller tank than the truck did. It's 17.2 gallons, I believe, in this. So it's not a huge tank, not a crazy small tank, but fuel economy or gas mileage they proclaim is actually 20 miles per gallon across the board per the Windows sticker. And that's combined, that's city, that's highway. So it's not too bad. You get a little bit more when you have, of course, the battery. It's going to work in the hybrid mode, so it's going to give and take. You know, if you get on the freeway, the motor will kick on and help you out a little bit when it's needed. It's not always on, it's not always off. So you could also do the e-save feature. All your buttons are on the left-hand bottom side of the dash here. So it's not too bad. You could do e-save where it saves your battery amount for later use, or you could do it as charge. If you do it in charge, you are going to lose a little bit of gas mileage because, of course, the motor is going to work a little bit harder to charge the battery. And I did do that feature on the way home at about probably a good 70 miles home. And it charged it up a little bit, but nothing so significant that it was probably even worth doing. Some of the other people I have noticed talking about these vehicles just basically say, leave it in hybrid. That's your best bet. And from what I could tell, that's the best thing to do. Leave it in hybrid and let it do its thing. Like actually right now, the motor did kick on. You can see that. You know, you finally started getting some temperature, and your RPM gauge is now working. I'm actually kind of shocked that that came on for just a little bit of driving that we were doing here so far. But that just gives you a little bit of a, and see the RPMs kick down. So that's where you're going to get your hybrid mode, where it's going to give and take. I did accelerate pretty good, so that's probably why it kicked on to go around a mail truck. And here, once we come up to this light, you'll see I'm going to let off the accelerator on the right. You'll see the needle go down the charge, so it is charging the battery. And it helps slow you down, of course. It also is going to help you, of course, save on brake pads and brake wear on your brake pads. I'm used to how it feels because I drive a bigger truck, plow the snow here. I live in Ohio, so I drive a truck for the county, and we have what is called engine braking on the bigger truck. So when you let off the gas, it will slow you down. So I'm used to the way this feels. I actually like it because you don't have to hit the brakes as much. I mean, it's not going to slow you down, you know, but you're still going to have to use your brakes some, but there's a tremendous amount that you're not using them anymore, which is nice. I think when we took off, we were around 20 miles on the battery. You know, we're down to about 17 now, but we definitely have gone the 3 miles or so that we've driven. Like I said, for going around town, just going a few miles down the road here and there, it's wonderful. And that's all I really ever do. You know, like I said, I did a 160-mile round trip to go to Hot Rod Power Tour. That was at Norwalk, Ohio at the Summit Motorsports Park. So I normally don't drive that. It's, once or twice a year, basically, I'm going on, 80 miles, 100 miles one way. So my typical day is about probably 5 to 6 miles one way to work, and then, of course, coming back home. So I'm definitely pretty much getting 2 days out of a full charge. And when I called my company for the electric, they're telling me I'm paying 6 cents a kilowatt. So from what I figured out on doing the old Google math stuff, when I Googled it, it was telling me I'm basically paying, I think it was like $1 something, maybe $2 and some odd cents to charge this. So far much less than a gallon of gas, especially when you're getting 2 days out of a full charge. You're not getting 2 days out of a gallon gas, especially it's more than $1 or $2. So I highly recommend, if you want to at least look the part and have all the nice features, I definitely opt for the Willys package. I could have gotten a Sahara, but it had more of the just normal radial tires. I really wasn't too keen on that because I'm not going to invest a bunch of money on a lease. So that's why I was like, okay, I'll take the Willys. It's got the cool tires. It's got the trailer hitch. It's got the speakers. I mean, it was a $63,000 MSRP on this. The amount of rebates, though, that I got on this particular one was either $12 something or $13,000 in rebates. Some of that is the, I believe, since it's a hybrid vehicle, you get, I think it's maybe somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000, I believe, in basically rebates through the government, since it's a hybrid vehicle. So you really can't beat it. From what the finance guy was telling me when I was signing all that paperwork, he said that before they were given rebates to where you were able to do it in your taxes at the end of the year. This way I got it. It was just up front. So I'd rather just do that anyways, to be honest with you. Just give me all the savings now to make my payment as cheap as I can. For a little bit of instance, I put down $3,000 of my own money. I also had $1,000 basically in equity in my Ram that was a lease, like I said, that I traded in. So I was able to have a payment for a 24-month lease. 10,000 miles a year is $399. Not too bad for a $63,000 MSRP vehicle. So I feel that it's not too bad. I like leasing. I've been doing it since 2014, and I think it's nice because you're always getting a vehicle every 2 to 3 years. My truck, I ended up having to do a 3-year lease on. That was the first one that I had to do in many, many years. Like I said, I started in 2014, so it was nice to go back to a 24-month lease, to be honest. So I'm hoping I will like the Jeep enough to possibly get another one. We shall see what happens. So far, like I said, I do like it. I wanted to just make another video here going over a few of the things and have a little drive, a little bit longer than I normally have been. But we're going to get out and video some of the cars here that showed up to the car show. Kind of a crappy night out because it is supposed to rain here in the next hour or two, they're saying. So probably not going to have a crazy long video on the car show, unfortunately, this week. But if you'd like, tune into my next video for some older cars for the most part. I'm going to try to walk around, though, do a little video on that, and I'm going to try to do some other car shows throughout the year. So if you're interested in, for the most part, you know, the older cars, you know, like 70s, mid 70s or 80s, you know, and older cars. And there's a mixture of newer cars that show up to most of the shows too. Like I said, tune in. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if there's anything more you'd like to go over on the Jeep here, and I'll do my best to answer. But for right now, we'll catch you later. And like I said, check out my next video of the car show.